Aspects and restrictions in Brazil. That surprised global visitors, this country is known for its vibrant football, infectious dance rhythms, and stunning natural landscapes. But before diving into an adventure in this lively South American nation, there are some things to consider. Brazil, with all its charm, can also be puzzling for visitors due to a variety of peculiar rules and unique phenomena that, it's believed, aren't for the faint-hearted. It's a big no-no to show dissatisfaction with the food. While different cultures might have dietary restrictions or struggles with new flavors, when visiting new places, it's crucial to keep a respectful attitude, even when faced with challenging dishes. In Brazil, showing displeasure with the food is frowned upon because there's a huge respect for culinary traditions. Additionally, there's a specific etiquette for eating, like avoiding using hands and opting for utensils such as knives and forks, with the fork handled by the left hand and the knife by the right. Among adults, it's considered bad manners to eat ice cream or chew gum while moving through public streets. For foods like sandwiches, burgers, pizzas, and fried chicken, etiquette demands the use of napkins or paper towels as a barrier, and in the case of pizza, it's recommended to use utensils like forks and knives for consumption. Displaying signs of financial prosperity is strongly discouraged. Due to high crime rates in Brazil, flaunting material possessions or any hint of wealth can be dangerous. When in public, it's wise to leave valuable items like jewelry, watches, and electronic devices in secure locations. When carrying items like cell phones or cameras, it's advisable to do so discreetly to avoid attracting unwanted attention. In certain areas, tourists even refrain from using phones in open spaces to avoid becoming targets of crimes. The incidence of crimes, especially thefts and robberies, is significant. Therefore, maintaining a vigilant and discreet posture when exposing belongings in public places is essential for personal safety, especially in areas known for their low security. Personal protection should always be the priority. Avoid drawing unwanted attention by keeping your personal belongings and valuables discreet in public places in Brazil. A crucial guideline is to steer clear of entering favelas. This precaution is vital for your safety when visiting the country, as many of these areas are controlled by criminal organizations. For an outsider, entering these territories can be seen as an intrusion, escalating the risk of dangerous encounters. The internet, especially platforms like YouTube, is filled with videos showcasing shocking scenes not aired on television, many originating from Brazil and exposing the country's complex social reality. There are frequent reports of extreme situations, such as kidnappings followed by tragic outcomes, depicted by intense scenes where police intervention through a sniper is necessary, targeting the critical point to neutralize the aggressor. However, precision is crucial. Any failure can have devastating consequences for the hostages. In Brazil, this type of police approach, though common, sparks heated debates about the effectiveness and integrity of law enforcement, often criticized for allegations of incompetence and corruption. Intercepting vehicles using weaponry and carrying out robberies in broad daylight has become as routine in Brazil as the daily habit of brushing your teeth upon waking up. Meanwhile, police action in the country mirrors the danger posed by the criminals themselves. In situations where individuals are approached at night, they may undergo an invasive and painful procedure, involving the removal of their shoes to be subdued with blows to the soles of their feet, followed by extortion under threat, until they are released in a state of absolute terror. Such actions are justified under the premise of preserving public order. Monitoring individuals moving through urban areas at night is suggested as a preventive measure against illicit activities in the most marginalized regions. On the other hand, the immense and enigmatic Amazon, covering an area of 6-7 million square kilometers, 60% of which are located in Brazil, represents a challenge in itself. The complexity and vastness of this tropical forest, the largest in the world, imply the need for specific preparation for those who venture into its territory. Surviving in such an environment requires a set of specialized skills, essential for the safety of anyone who, even well-equipped, finds themselves lost amidst its vastness. Surviving alone in the vastness of the Amazon is a challenging feat. When venturing into this territory, the visitor is initially met not with a scarcity of resources like water or food, but with the presence of indigenous communities whose receptiveness is uncertain. Several tribes, whose traditions and ways of life remain shrouded in mystery and caution, inhabit this jungle. Unintentional encroachment upon their lands can turn the intruder into a target, and despite their primitive weaponry, the mastery they possess over their habitat turns the confrontation into a significant risk, even for those armed with modern technology. In addition to the human factor, the Amazon's fauna is comprised of species both fascinating and lethal. The biological diversity ranges from insects like mosquitoes and ants, which pose constant dangers, to large predators like jaguars, anacondas, and shoals of piranhas, all representing potential threats to human life. It's worth noting the existence of a colossal spider, with legs that can reach up to 24 centimeters in length, large enough to cover a human face. Despite its diet primarily consisting of insects and not including humans, proximity to this creature is discouraged due to its toxicity. The fear many have regarding ants and piranhas in the Amazon is often amplified by cinematic portrayals that don't entirely match reality. Although they're not natural aggressors in their normal state, open wounds and bleeding can indeed attract the attention of these creatures, potentially triggering a defensive or attacking response. However, it's the larger predators like jaguars that pose the real threats in the jungle. These felines, only smaller than lions and tigers, combine a powerful bite with surprising agility, capable of finishing off their prey in a single strike. Despite being less numerous in the Amazon, an accidental encounter with a jaguar can put anyone in an extremely vulnerable situation, relying solely on fortunate circumstances to survive. It's interesting to note that jaguars are the only felines that hunt crocodiles, showcasing their predatory skill and versatility. As for anacondas, their reputation precedes any warning. They're formidable animals and extremely dangerous to those who invade their habitat. The most sensible suggestion for those unfamiliar or unprepared for the challenges and dangers of the jungle is to stay in urban areas. Cities offer their own adventures and cultural experiences, providing a safe and enriching alternative to exploring wild territories. A unique village where female presence prevails, an irresistible invitation for single men. Get ready to discover a place that promises to be a romantic haven like no other. If loneliness has been your only companion, know that in Noiva do Cordeiro, an oasis of beauty and femininity in Brazil, the promise of finding your soulmate becomes a reality. This is a warm invitation to the lands of Noiva do Cordeiro, home to countless charming Brazilian women who open their arms to singles in search of companionship, in a scenario where men are rare because they've already formed marital bonds. Located in the heart of southeastern Brazil, less than 100 kilometers from Belo Horizonte, Minas Gerais, Noiva do Cordeiro stands out for being a predominantly female community. Known for its population of graceful and lively women, the village has become a symbol of beauty and joy. With a population exceeding 600 inhabitants, the vast majority being women, around 300 of them are in the prime of their lives, single and open to meeting new loves. In this place, males over 18 years old set out in search of sustenance, and only a select group returns home during weekends. The ladies of the locality find themselves compelled to take on urban responsibilities due to the male scarcity. This circumstance led to appeals from young women for single gentlemen to consider establishing residence. In Noiva do Cordeiro, there's almost a feminist ideology prevailing. Female leadership extends across all social spheres, encompassing everything from agricultural cultivation to construction, administration, and spiritual matters. Together, they've built a thriving community, detached from male dependence. However, there are still men living in the area, though in small numbers and without prominent roles. Some reside as partners, making domestic appearances on very rare annual occasions. However, deep down, the women harbor the desire for companions for a full life sharing. After news spread about the area's eagerness for male companions, numerous young men expressed enthusiasm. However, the single status of the young women in Noiva do Cordeiro doesn't make them easy targets, as they set strict criteria for suitors. Men interested in joining the women of Noiva do Cordeiro must master essential domestic skills like washing dishes, doing laundry, cooking meals, and keeping bathrooms clean. In this town, equality in daily tasks is valued. To this day, Noiva do Cordeiro stands out as one of the most unique places on the globe, also inhabited by ladies who have never experienced a kiss. The practice of being late is seen as an integral part of the local culture. reversing the common perception of punctuality. The experience of waiting for someone, which in other places can be frustrating, takes on a different meaning here. In many parts of Brazil, arriving early can result in social judgments. An author who explored Brazil noted that those accustomed to haste would find it difficult to adapt, as Brazilians tend to be lenient with schedules, often arriving late to meetings. During a journalistic assignment in Rio de Janeiro, Lucy Bryson, a BBC correspondent, had a memorable experience. She was welcomed to a karaoke celebration, arriving slightly after the appointed time, and found the residence still in disarray, full of groceries to be put away. The host, just out of the shower, greeted her with a light humor. "Sorry, I'm still getting ready." This casualness reflects the laid-back rhythm of local daily life, influenced by both beach culture and the frequent traffic jams or spontaneous encounters on Brazil's public streets. The local culture doesn't place much value on strict schedules and precise communication, directly impacting the organization of social events. Tolerance for lateness is so ingrained that delaying the start of a party is seen as courtesy, an unspoken norm especially noticeable in Rio. However, there's a limit to this flexibility. Formal commitments like work meetings require punctuality, clearly distinguishing them from social occasions, where delays of at least 30 minutes are the norm, with no rush for parties or gatherings among friends. On the Brazilian coast, enforcement of inappropriate or obscene behaviors is strict. On the other hand, the country is home to nude beaches, which operate under a climate of great freedom. There are officially 8 of these naturist beaches spread across 5 Brazilian states: Bahia, Espírito Santo, Rio de Janeiro, Paraíba, and Santa Catarina. Among them, Tambaba Beach stands out, recognized as one of the pioneers of naturism worldwide, offering breathtaking scenery since 1991. These spaces are viewed naturally by the local population, serving as havens for those seeking the freedom of bodily expression without judgment. However, privacy and mutual respect are fundamental pillars in these areas. It's essential not to capture images or record videos of others without consent, preserving the right to others' privacy with the same care as one desires for oneself. In Brazil, the act of drinking beer goes beyond simple consumption, deeply ingraining itself into the social and cultural fabric of the country. In this society, beer drinking is almost synonymous with communion, serving as a bridge for social interaction, exchange of experiences, and strengthening bonds among friends, family, and even new acquaintances. Beer, more than just a beverage, is a pretext for bringing people together, sharing moments, and experiencing collective joy. In this festive culture, the idea of drinking alone is uncommon, as the drink is seen as a unifying element, triggering conversations and shared memories. When opening a bottle, especially the 700 milliliters ones typical in the country, Brazilians have the habit of pouring small servings into separate cups, not only for themselves, but also for others present, extending the invitation even to strangers. This practice reflects the welcoming and inclusive nature of the Brazilian people, making the country one of the largest consumers of beer and alcohol globally. Beer is a constant presence in national celebrations like Carnival, parties, and casual gatherings, contributing to an atmosphere of relaxation and collective happiness. The strong social presence combined with a wide variety of beers available in the national market are key factors for the popularity and high consumption of these beverages in Brazil. The passion for music and dance runs deep in the veins of the Brazilian people, a truth universally recognized by anyone visiting Brazil. The richness and variety of music in this country reflect the vibrant cultural mix that characterizes it. Take samba, for example. It's immediately associated with Brazil for its seductive dances and its prominent presence in the famous carnivals, becoming a globally recognized icon within the musical spectrum. The infectious energy of samba melodies, combined with the skill of the dancers, captures the audience's attention from the get-go. The trajectory of Brazilian music is a narrative of fusions and encounters between the sacred and the profane, the urban and the rural, the indigenous, European, and African heritages, intertwining tradition and contemporaneity. It's this rich interaction that gives Brazilian music its unique and distinctive identity, with samba standing out as a pure expression of this singularity. In addition to samba, Brazil celebrates other forms of bodily expression like forró and capoeira, the latter being an impressive fusion of dance with martial arts to the rhythm of music. Dance, more than just a pastime, is a vehicle for cultural expression, a means of celebrating traditions, festivals, and national pride. For Brazilians, dancing is an essential part of everyday life, a reflection of the joy, enthusiasm, and inherent warmth of their culture. It seems like Brazil is the center of Mother Nature's attention in this corner of South America. Among its peculiarities is an island full of snakes and the immense Amazon rainforest. However, that's not all. The country is the stage for one of the most peculiar natural spectacles on the globe, the Pororoca. This rare event, which occurs semi-annually in the months of February and March, brings with it monumental waves ranging from 6 to 9 meters in height, persisting for long periods and wreaking havoc on everything in its path, from buildings and vegetation to local wildlife. Unlike tsunamis or polluted waves, the destructive force of this river wave is comparable, but originates from the tides of the Atlantic, which, upon meeting the mouth of the Amazon River, give life to the largest river wave on the planet, known as the Pororoca. This phenomenon is typical of rivers with shallow beds, narrow mouths, and a conical configuration. Crossing the shallow waters at the river mouth, the tide generates impressive waves that can reach heights of 6 to 9 meters, lasting for about half an hour. As dawn breaks, you can hear the monkeys chatter and the muffled sounds of other jungle animals, signaling the arrival of high tide. This phenomenon has the power to devastate everything in its path, from homes to trees along the riverbanks. Despite the risks, many adventurers take on the challenge of surfing these gigantic waves, seeking the adrenaline rush of danger. Tides, by their nature, follow a regular pattern, but estuarine waves like these are notoriously unpredictable. Several factors influence their formation, including wind variations and river depth, which can change with the seasons. A memorable episode of the Pororoca in 2003 lasted for 37 minutes and traveled 50 kilometers, leaving a trail of widespread destruction and plunging the local inhabitants into a state of misery and desolation. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the curiosities and wonders of Brazil. Share your impressions about this unique country in the comments below.